Star Wars: The Force Awakens is directed by J.J. Abrams and stars Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Harrison Ford, Oscar Isaac, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill. It's been 32 years since the Battle of Endor, and a new threat to the galaxy has emerged, and that's all you're getting because I'm not spoiling anything about the movie for you. Yes, this is a spoiler-free video. Nothing will be spoiled in the movie for you, so don't worry if you haven't seen it yet. I will be doing a spoiler video a little bit later on, so be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't already, go check out my reaction video. I did it immediately after I saw The Force Awakens, and it was just my immediate geek-filled reaction to the movie. And in it, I said that I loved this film, and I've had a chance to let the movie sink in and see it 2 more times, and every time I've watched it, I've loved it even more. I absolutely love this movie. I think it is amazing. And the first time I saw this film, I had a stupid smile on my face. This is a movie that I thought was never going to happen. But the second Disney bought Lucasfilms and they announced that The Force Awakens was coming, I was so excited for this movie. And the first time I watched it, I was able to view it as a Star Wars fan who had been waiting. I've been waiting my entire life for this movie. It's been 32 years since Return of the Jedi. I'm currently 30, and it's just... I couldn't believe that I was sitting in the theater watching this movie. But the second time and third time around that I saw this film, I was able to enjoy it as just a film goer. And I said it in my initial reaction video that this movie is just a good movie, period. You don't have to be the biggest Star Wars fan to enjoy this film. And there's so much I loved about this movie. For one, the pacing is absolutely perfect. I just love how they don't give you enough time to linger. There are so many action pieces in this movie, and after each one, you're allowed time to sort of absorb what you saw, the information that you've gotten from those scenes. And right before you get settled into the scene, it hits you with another action piece, and I love how it did that, and it's very reminiscent of A New Hope. And it's such a contrast to what the prequels were. What the prequels constantly did was it just told you exposition from people standing around talking or walking with each other and talking. And I say it all the time in my reviews, film and movies are a visual medium. I want them to show me and not tell me. And the prequels just told me everything that I needed to know. The Force Awakens shows you everything. And that's how this movie moves the plot forward through these action pieces. And I absolutely appreciated how it did that. And another great thing about this movie is the humor. This movie has more humor than you're used to in a Star Wars film, but it's done so appropriately and it's done so well. I mean, there's jokes coming from everybody in the film, even Kylo Ren, but the humor is handled so appropriately and it fits each character so well. And I keep going back to this one scene between Rey and Finn, and it's not like they're cracking jokes, it's more like their interaction and their chemistry is just humorous, and there's so many scenes like that in this movie. But on the flip side of that, I was kind of wishing they would have sort of like held back on what characters gave you the humor. I really expected it from Han and Chewie and Poe Dameron. Finn's another character that I felt that humor was really appropriate for, but I just wish that had they delegated the humor to just a couple of characters, it would have fit Star Wars a bit more. But this is a new Star Wars movie, and they did it so well that I didn't mind it. And I have to give huge props to J.J. Abrams. He did a phenomenal job with The Force Awakens, not with just directing the film, but he had to incorporate so many things. He had to bring in new characters and meld them with the returning characters and give us 32 years of history. There was so much he had to cram in this movie, and he did it in a way that it just fit perfectly. I felt like I was watching a Star Wars movie again, and one of my concerns going into the film was that it was going to rely so much on nostalgia for it to be good. And there's plenty of nostalgia in this film. There's so many moments in this film where I was just geeking out. I'm like, It did it in a way where it felt like a lot of time has passed, because like you have to cram in so much in this movie. Like 32 years has passed and you felt that. You felt like you're returning to the Star Wars universe after all this time has passed. And I want to take a moment to touch on all the characters in this film, because this movie had so many memorable characters. And I want to start with John Boyega as Finn. John Boyega made Finn so lovable and so much fun, yet he made him so complex at the same time. From the very first moment you see Finn on screen, you know there's something important about him. And it's not just the dialogue and what he tells other characters about the First Order that I think made him so complex. He had so many conflicting ideals of like what he was once fighting for, now what the realization that he's come to. And Boyega's performance just made it that much more believable. And the more you learn about Finn, the more you care about him. And I just really love the job that John Boyega did with Finn. And another character that you just gravitate towards is Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac was a great casting for Poe Dameron. You can really tell he's going to be the new Han Solo in this trilogy just because he knows he's the baddest pilot in the entire galaxy, and that's not a bad thing. He doesn't give off a cocky vibe. He gives off like an assured vibe that he knows nobody can beat him in a star battle, because there's one great line that I don't want to spoil, but like the way he delivers it, it's like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows how good he is. And it's one thing to tell me he's the best pilot in the galaxy, and it's another thing to show me. One of my gripes about the prequels was that Anakin Skywalker was supposed to be this amazing pilot, but you only get like maybe 2 or 3 glimpses of that. There's one scene in this movie that you're like, okay, yeah, there's no beating this guy. He is by far the best pilot I've ever seen in the Star Wars movie. And now I want to talk about a character that we all know and love, with Harrison Ford as Han Solo. And having Han in this movie sort of played into my concerns of just relying on nostalgia. I was kind of worried that they were going to sort of just push Solo into this film and be like, hey, here's Han Solo. He's a character you like, right? This is not the same Han Solo that we know and love from the original trilogy. It is Han Solo, but this is a more experienced and more mature Han Solo. And that's something that I really appreciated. If you were to just take Han Solo from Empire Strikes Back and just shove him into this film, that doesn't show character development or a character arc. And what The Force Awakens did so great was that it gave us enough of Solo to realize that, yes, he's been through some things and he's seen things that changed him as a person. And I absolutely love that they did that. And of course, you can't have a good Star Wars film without a good bad guy. And Kylo Ren. Wow. I didn't know what to think of Kylo Ren when I saw the trailers. Of course, he looks badass, and I'm like, well, man, that guy looks cool. But you can't just rely on a character looking cool. And one of those cases is Darth Maul. When I saw Darth Maul in the prequel trailer, I'm like, oh, man, that guy's awesome. And you didn't get enough of him to sort of realize what kind of character he was, and he just gets killed in the first movie. So, and to me, what makes a great villain in a movie is ones that you can understand their motivations, but their motivations just happen to be bad, and that's what Kylo Ren is. Kylo Ren is such a conflicted character, and I just absolutely loved his character, and I can't talk about him anymore without spoiling anything. But I will say this, everything that was Kylo Ren in this movie, Adam Driver did that so well, and he just brought all like the nuances and just slight things that just made his character just that much more conflicting and that much more interesting. I think Kylo Ren by far was the most interesting character in this entire movie. And now I want to talk about my favorite character in this entire movie, with Daisy Ridley as Rey. Now, if you frequent my channel, you know how much I want strong female characters, especially if they're the lead in the movie. Rey is the epitome of what I am talking about. What I love about Rey so much is she doesn't rely on any other character in this movie. Every scene that she's in, she takes control of the situation, and other characters try to step in, whether it be Finn or Han, and they try to lead the situation at a certain point, but it's ultimately because of her that they end up succeeding. And I just love that part about her. And like, after watching this movie a couple of times, certain characters start to panic a little bit, or they'll start to get like sort of worked up, and she stays completely level-headed and like just grabs the situation and just fixes it. And I absolutely love the character of Rey. And Daisy Ridley is Rey. I can't see her as anything else but Rey, and that might be because I haven't seen her in anything. I don't know her acting record, and I don't know if she's been in anything else but Star Wars. But what a find! My God, I absolutely love Daisy Ridley as Rey, and I absolutely love the character of Rey. And like I said before, there's plenty to love about this film, but I do have a couple issues. And without spoiling anything, there's certain story point in this film that just kind of felt like a rehash, and if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And my problem was, it was more like a rehash rather than revisiting themes that you see in Star Wars. In all the movies in Star Wars, you see reoccurring themes that pop up in all of them. There's the hero's journey, there's a theme of camaraderie and friendship, good versus evil, and these are themes that keep reoccurring in the Star Wars universe. But this one storyline, it felt like just a rehash of something we've seen before. But regardless of the way I feel about it, I do see the reason for it being in this film. There is a reason for this plot point being in there, but I can't tell you it because it will spoil the movie, so I will shut up right there. And another thing that I have issue with, there's a certain something and a certain someone that comes back at the end of the film, and it just seemed a little too convenient for me, and just like, oh hey, I have something for you. And I have my own theories about why it happened at this point in the film, but it just felt too convenient for me, and had it happened 20 minutes prior to it happening, it would have helped a whole lot. But again, can't talk about it. It's a spoiler. So now the last thing I want to touch on in this review is great movies like this one leave me wanting more, and I just didn't want this movie to end. And I have so many questions that I want answered, and I am just in such an unfamiliar place right now that I was so used to growing up just watching A New Hope and like, oh man, it's so good, let's pop in Empire Strikes Back. Oh my God, Empire Strikes Back is so good, let's pop in Return of the Jedi. And now it's like, oh man, Force Awakens, so good. Another year and a half, oh no! And I just want more. And that's what great movies do. They keep me wanting more. And I can't wait for episode 8 to come out, but we have to wait another year and a half, and just, ugh. And this should not come as a surprise to any of you that frequent my channel. I am giving Star Wars The Force Awakens a yeah.
Oh yeah!
So do you see a lot of movies, but you hate paying a lot of money out of the pocket for movies? Got a really great solution for you. It's called MoviePass. You need to sign up for this. With MoviePass, you can see a movie every 24 hours for a flat monthly rate. They have plans ranging from a yearly contract to months. And when you see as many movies as I do, service pays for itself. So go to the link here and you can start your free 2-week trial today. And one last thing before I go, I said in my initial reaction video that I don't know where I was going to rank this movie. I had to see it a couple more times. I've seen this movie 3 times already. How I would rank the Star Wars films that we have right now, I'm going to go, at the very bottom is going to go Attack of the Clones. After that, I'm going to go The Phantom Menace. After that, I'm going to go Revenge of the Sith. Above Revenge of the Sith, we have Return of the Jedi. After Return of the Jedi, I'm going A New Hope, the original Star Wars film. And then I will put The Force Awakens right above A New Hope. And of course, Empire Strikes Back is at the very top. For me, Force Awakens is a very close second. And by the time this movie comes out on Blu-ray, and I've seen it a billion more times, I would not doubt that it would catch Empire Strikes Back and take over the top spot for me. But for right now, it is my second favorite Star Wars film of all time. So, Star Wars The Force Awakens, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, you can click right here and see more videos by Andrew. May the Force be with you, always.